Hi, I'm Catherine Hammond. I'm the Research Library Manager at Auckland Art Gallery Toyo Tamaki. We were considering a collaborative project with the Christchurch Art Gallery Library, which is currently closed due to the earthquake. And so we got together and we talked about how we might combine resources in the most sort of useful way. What we came up with in the end was a project that would bring together the most comprehensive list of New Zealand artists' names from the mid-19th century through to today by using all the wide range of resources that are available across art museum libraries in New Zealand. And also to provide a sort of finding aid for people. So if you find the artist's name, you then know where to go to find further information. Basically we've pulled together a list of about 25,000 names thus far. Yeah, well, the mission of the library at the gallery is essentially to maintain and develop the most comprehensive resource on New Zealand artists. So it fits in with developing that resource. The other key part of it is our mission is to be innovative in broadening access to that. So this collaboration we saw fitting in with that as well. The other thing, of course, is that the Auckland Art Gallery has recently reopened, and so we were looking for a project that would connect with the community in some way, with our community of users. So it all came together quite nicely. The process was pretty straightforward. An email came out from National Services, which the timing was perfect because we'd just had the conversation with Tim Jones at Christchurch about what sort of project we could work on together. And the email appeared, and there was some simple instructions about what to do and who to get in touch with. And I think the thing I liked most was that you had a conversation with someone first about whether you fitted the criteria before you went ahead and did a whole lot of work on the application. So I had the conversation, put together the application, worked with that with my colleagues, worked out a sort of basic budget and what we might need to do. And I think because the sum of money that you're applying for is reasonably modest, and so I think that the forms kind of reflected that. You didn't have to jump through too many hoops. And then it was just, a great moment when you get, you're successful and you can invoice and away you go. And there were timely reminders about when things needed to be done by. And so I thought the process was, for large or small organisations, very straightforward. I have applied for other grants before, some quite large grants. We were successful in getting a grant for a website, Whakamiharo Lindau Online, through, it was a special digital strategy that the Department of Internal Affairs was managing. It was a community partnership fund. This was a larger sum of money, so it was a much more complicated process, took longer. There was a lot of reporting involved throughout the project, so quite different in that respect. I've also applied for smaller grants for places that ALIS, which is the Art Library Society, we've got a grant to digitise some of our exhibition catalogues. And again, it was more similar to the National Services one, but I think I would reiterate that the initial conversation was so critical because you really got a sense of whether it was worth your while continuing or not. And that's the first grant that I've applied for that has had that personal interaction. So I would reiterate that as a real positive. We specifically asked for funding for a contractor. And I think that's another really nice thing, is that you can ask for money for a variety of different purposes, and actually getting another body in to do this spreadsheet that we wanted to produce of artists' names was great, because we were able to fit it into our work as well. So I've had a supervisory role. So the first step for us was obviously invoicing, getting the money into the gallery's account, that kind of, all those sort of practicalities, obviously important to sort out first, and then we were able to advertise for a contractor to come in. And we were really lucky because our assistant curator had been on maternity leave and was looking for some part-time work and was available, so that worked out really well. Because it's a collaborative project, Tim Jones from Christchurch came up and we all met. And one of the nice things is that we already, when you've done an application, you've already kind of got a project plan in hand. And I think that's one of the real values, is that you have had to think about what you're going to do before you do it. So you've got a roadmap with your application. And so we use that as the basis of our planning. And then we just developed a more detailed plan for the contractor, some protocols and guidelines, and then away we went. I think we achieved our goals and then some, which was really exciting, because once the word got out that we were doing this project, a number of organisations wanted to be involved. So in addition to pulling together data from the Auckland Art Gallery in Christchurch, we also have Te Papa's list of artist names from their artist file listing. Hocken got involved. So we've got a good geographic spread. And yeah, I think I would have been more concerned if the project, I think you've got to be careful that your project doesn't lose, that the scope doesn't creep too much. And in this instance, it didn't, but it was so valuable what came in. So I think we've achieved our goals. We're still at the point where we need to create a really user-friendly version of the spreadsheet. Our contractor is still working on that we can then share. And once that's happened, we're already using it for queries. So it's already had value for us in the library, and now we're at the point where we want to get it into the sort of shape where we can share it with people. Yeah. But I thought the three really key things for me, the first one is to be passionate about what you're doing. And I think that always shines through in the application. But something that really means something to you and your organisation. The other thing is the power of collaboration and bringing in skill sets from various other organisations. I think you get stronger outcomes that way. And the other thing is to be realistic about everything, about your budget, about your time frame, about what outcomes you're going to achieve. Not to feel like you have to massage those too much. Be honest, because I think the funding body wants you to achieve. That's why they're giving you the opportunity to apply for the money, and think carefully about what you actually will achieve. All I would say is apply for grants, because what I've learned in my 12 years at the art gallery is that it's important to try to take up those opportunities. These grants exist, and sometimes you think, oh, do I have time to do that and fill out the application? But it's always so well worth it. You learn so much, you achieve so much. Don't hold back. Find out what's out there and what's available, and just go for it.